I know, but sometimes what happens is that merely because he was with Ajikor 4 years back, he may not be involved in anything at all if these are.
Disclose whether the individuals had previous relationship with Ajikor. Let them at least disclose.
My lord, but that is the most shocking part of it. My lord, 4 years back, when this particular person was
maybe complete.
Ajikor,
We have more
my
serious
lord, he was
problems.
responsible for selling off babies.
My learned friend said that all doctors have joined. My lord, they have joined, but only they are performing emergency work.
Oh, just a minute, my lord, this
They
is a
are-
false
one
statement. It's a false statement.
All right.
But it is.
My lords, in all of this, there have been 2 attacks. On the 27th
Yes.
of September in Shagor Dotto Medical College Hospital, there was an assault when the mob entered and the police and the non-state security personnel.
That we're investigating. This is not a general investigation onto what is happening on issues of law and order in every hospital.
In Ajikor, one moment.
If this irregularity has been going on for at least 2 decades, and if the individuals who have now been appointed have been associated with
My lord, can the state please
then the
finish?
fact that their previous employment was not with Ajikor doesn't make a difference.
No, but
I know, but sometimes what happens is that merely because he was with Ajikor 4 years back,
If they at least
he may not be involved in anything at all if these are.
disclose whether the individuals had previous relationship with Ajikor. Let them at least disclose.
My lord, but that is the most shocking part of it. Because 4 years back, my lord,
You know what? Sometimes you need a person who is conscious of that particular establishment also. If that person is otherwise free of taint, and today the government is bringing in somebody from outside, there's no reason for us to suspect that a person who is deliberately brought in with a taint.
Yes, my lord, we
years
took
back,
instructions
there was-
and we are told that immediately the doctors are not aware of any taint, but we will come back with specific instructions.
In RJ Course College, Lord, regarding duty room, Lord, the tenders have matured, but we need the CBI's clearance, Lord, because of the crime.
Mr. Solicitor,
I'm sure, Lord, will.
they need your clearance for completing the work in the duty room because you've lifted all the evidence now.
Whatever they were supposed not to do for first 5 days, brother, they've done. Now, even if they do something more, brother, we have no objection.
Anyway, you just communicated to them, that's all.
Yes,
That's
there
all
is
right.
one
Lord, it's-
aspect.
It is the CBI which has stopped us, Lord, so we need permission, otherwise we would have done it.
my lord, 4 years back, when this particular person was
Maybe complete.
Ajikor,
We have more serious
my lord, he was responsible for selling off babies. My lord, the matter is pending before the High Court.
This is unfair. This is unfair.
But it's not unfair.
Just 1 second.
I don't know from all these remarks.
actually.
Let CBI investigate.
You can't
Who are you?
make 1 second.
No, no, I have the order sheet.
Just one
Where
second.
DNA was
Who is he?
conducted.
1 second.
Represent.
Just listen to us. You can't just throw an allegation like
Yes.
that across the bar.
Responsibility.
On the next date of listing, you show us something to indicate.
No, no, I'll show the orders where the DNA was conducted
Right?
by the High
Then
Court.
Put it on the record.
I'll put it on record.
You can't just, otherwise
4
we have
years
to,
that-
we have to follow some order
This
and
is not
procedure in
on
the court.
record. I'll put it on
Nothing
record.
beyond
Oh, we are here. We'll immediately ask them to replace the
Lord,
order.
he should also tell us what is his locus, Lord, from where he is getting
I mean,
information. Lord.
But my argument, it was.
All right, look, you put it on the record.
I'll put
that's
it-
it.
And which party does he represent?
Lord, may I have a very important request to make? Lord?
Correctly.
My learned friend said that all doctors have joined. Lord, they have joined, but only they are performing emergency work.
Oh, just a minute, my lord, this is
They
a
are-
false
one
statement. It's a false statement.
All right.
But it is in their affidavit. My lord,
Very strict.
Indira jaising,
Yes.
senior counsel appearing on behalf of the resident doctors, has made a solemn statement that pursuant to the hearing which took place in court on the last occasion, all doctors have rejoined their duties.
my lord, the word, the expression that I've used,
Responding to the statement of Mr. Rakesh Dwivedi,
They are not doing IPD and OPD.
second,
that learned senior counsel appearing on behalf of the state of West Bengal, that the doctors are not performing
IPD
the
and
IPD and OPD duties, Ms. Jaising assures the court that the doctors are performing all duties without exception.
including all essentials and emergency services, that may be recorded.
All duties.
No, my lord, because there's a dispute over the expression. The essential services are being performed.
You're not performing only essential service, right? You're performing all duties, we take it from you.
And they've admitted it in their own affidavit.
You're performing
No,
all
we
duties.
have said not IPD, OPD.
Look, this is part of the threat
Anyway, Minister,
culture.
I'm not accusing, Lord, I'm only
This is
praying with
part of
folded
the
hands. Lord, to
organization of the doctors,
join.
not.
Therefore, we have recorded your statement that
Mr.
you are
Pooja.
performing all duties. So now abide by the statement.
These
And
duties are
second-
performed by the senior doctors.
Now, my lord, one,
My lords, they've admitted it in the affidavit that the junior doctors have rejoined. So
No.
where is the?
Where is this? Please show us the
So
page.
they
What
have.
para number?
You know it,
Now
to
that-
your knowledge, they have rejoined, to your knowledge.
Please show us.
Words kindly be seen, my lords. What we have said.
A statement that they are willing, that they are ready, that they are doing all
So
work.
they are not doing so.
They are-
No, please, this cannot be allowed. Let him file a separate application for
Para
any.
17.
Ms. Jaising, are you making a statement that you are performing IPD and OPD work?
Yes, here's my statement. Please record it as I say it. They are performing all essential and emergency
What is
services.
essential?
Let me finish.
Who will
Essential
decide?
services includes OPD. Essential
No, not
services.
like-
No, 1 minute, Milord, they should know better than me. They're
Junior doctors
doctors.
are very important for
They
the
should
health
know better
system.
than me.
Hospitals
If
cannot.
according to you, you are performing all essential services.
Yes.
We record your statement which
That's right.
includes IPD and OPD.
OPD is part of essential services.
Right.
It's
Likewise,
I
inpatient
want it
department.
on
also.
record, my lord. I want it on record that they are performing emergency and essential services. That's the medical name. My lord, it's the medical name given to this service.
But will that mean that you will not render services to a child who comes in with a normal ailment during the term of the weather, but you will try and save
No.
the dying patient?
No, my lord, no. OPD
You are
falls
supposed
within
to do
essential
Work
services.
in the hospital, which any
OPD
doctor
falls
must do.
within
Your
essential
lordship may
services.
say all
Not-
essential services including
Yes,
IPD, OPD.
It's not the way. They have admitted that we are back at work.
No, we
If
have
you
not.
continue like this, I will take no responsibility for one more
But
strike.
therefore, 1 second, are you stating that you are performing all medical and essential work, including IPD and OPD work?
Because it's part of essential service. No, my lord, your lordship may record that. I don't want confusion.
But Ms. Indira
I
jaising
don't want to
has
make any false
categorically-
statements in this
has
court.
Categorically stated that all the doctors are and shall perform all medical and essential work, including
PD.
IPD and OPD work.
Yes, I'm grateful.
My lords, in all of this, there have been 2 attacks. On the 27th
Yes.
of September in Shagor Dotto Medical College Hospital, there was an assault when the mob entered and the police and the non-state security personnel, the Rati Reshati said, that they are doubling down on, stood back. So, my lords, there is a
Nobody
second
stood back.
attack that happened yesterday. My lords, if I may just
That you are investigating. This is not a general investigation onto what is happening on issues of law and order in every hospital.
Yes.
But we take it that you are taking action in accordance with.
We have filed
People
a
have been
My lords,
arrested,
in this
FIR
regard,
because
action
the-
is not
the
being
two
taken.
versions are that a patient died because, my lord, he was not provided bed. He was critical. No doctor attended.
No,
Only
my lords,
the
these
doctor-
allegations cannot be
But
made,
there
my
is-
lord.
There are-
These allegations cannot be made, my
But surely we can't decide them on the level of the volume of the voice. He'll have to decide it if it all after records come before us.
Exactly, my lords. There are no records.
There's an assertion by the state, we're denying it.
We have put it on
Lordship,
record. Let them reply.
Your lordship is physically away,
Fine.
but I'm the nearest proximity.
No, I'm the nearest.
There are,
All right,
Just a minute.
Your lordships, may I?
all right.
Just one
Mr. Solicitor, when will you give us the report on the status of the
Whenever
investigation?
next,
We'll take it up on the Monday after the mini break of the court. So that will give you almost 10 days time to investigate. Or
can
14.
it be Tuesday?
Your lordship,
May I
just hear me for a second.
Your lordships, may I mention?
Lord,
and
please
I
hear me for a
given
second.
sensitive nature of the pictures, I've taken those back. Your lordship,
1 second. Is it in relation to the state of West Bengal and the RG Kaur
your
hospital?
lordship, this is very.
1 second. Yes or no?
No.
Then that is the end of the matter. Sorry. No.
Your
My
lordship,
lord, a word,
No, sorry.
my lord, a word of clarification that the High Court can proceed with the other petitions, my lord, which are outside the remit of what your lordships are supervising.
Yes, we are not.
No, but
If we-
that's it. Last time they said it's
Kripalani,
before the
if we
Supreme Court.
wanted the High Court to stay its hand, we would have indicated that right away.
So, my lord,
We didn't. It's
can
a-
can we have a specific?
There are issues of moment which we are considering. There are issues which are best left to be handled at a local level by the division
Exactly.
head.
Therefore, my lord, just.
But they also know that issues which we are dealing with, they will not touch.
My lord,
Other matters they can.
last time they had a difficulty. I was personally appearing in the matter in the Calcutta High Court.
What was the issue?
The difficulty was, is this also, the case was about the police commissioner's statement immediately on the morning of, as he exited from the hospital, giving an interview disclosing the victim's name.
Somebody will have to file a writ petition.
Yes, my lord, we filed a writ petition in the High Court.
Have we stayed the hearing of that writ petition? We have not. Have we transferred that writ petition?
No,
to
no,
us
lordships
as-
haven't. But a word of clarification, the difficulty. But, your lordship may only say this. Anything outside the remit of what your lordships have
Mr.
said.
Jetmalani,
Yes.
Mr. Dwivedi,
My lord,
if there's a writ petition dealing with the police commissioner's conduct, we are not staying the proceedings before the High Court at all.
It can
So
go on
please,
there.
neither side should tell the court that, well, we are seized of that matter. We are very clear that the writ petition which has been filed,
But will your lordship say that anything outside the remit of what has been said?
It's not required to be said.
the High Court is seasoned enough to know what
But
not to enter upon.
Last time we said that they were not going into.
Now we have made our position clear.
About the National Task Force, we directed to file the interim.
Mr. Solicitor, now, could we have the report of the National Task Force on the next date?
Can be.
Because then we can issue broader directions
Yes,
for
sir.
implementing.
Correct.
So please
I
make sure,
communicate, my lord, through.
because we had said that an interim report and the final report, now we should have actually both.
my lord, on the task
20th
force.
of October.
Solicitor General, the Solicitor General shall place on the record the outcome of the proceedings before the National
My
Task
lord,
Force,
lordship will
or
give-
at least apprise this court on the status, on the progress which has been made.
My lord, but your lordship will just give me 1 second on the task force
Why-
issue.
Dr. Joshi from Medical Legal Society of India.
Sorry,
Dr. Rajiv Joshi from Medical Legal Society of India.
have you filed an IA?
Yeah, we have filed an intervention.
What is your IA for? How are you concerned with RG Medical College?
Arjikor in general violence all over India that is happening.
That we will take up. We'll go step by step. We'll first deal with
submit any
RG We are
document
dealing
for
with
your-
the state of West
My
Bengal.
lord, may I just have a-
We'll deal with this at a little later stage.
I have to
Yeah.
submit
My lord,
three
with your
documents for your
permission, I just
consideration. Your
have a
Honor.
single word on the question of the task force. My lord, I have already filed an IA. I have no problem if it's taken up on the next date. But the point that we've pointed out there is the task force doesn't have any representation from West Bengal. We have made a humble request to this court.
Everyone
To
can
one
represent.
second, please. That is the task force is constituted by this honorable court. The members' names have been put by this honorable court. Only this court can alter the composition of the task force. It's a humble request to include into the task force at least one representative from the state of West
See,
Bengal.
if you-
1 second.
One second, now will you,
Take up your-
both sides, will you please hear us?
Yes,
The task force is not state specific.
it's
The
not.
task, one second.
That's right.
We are going to issue directions based on the report of the task force, which will have pan-India application.
Yes, my lord.
If we agree to your suggestion, we will have to include representatives of every state in the task force.
Oh,
Therefore, just 1 second,
Yes,
therefore we have directed that the task force shall engage with stakeholders.
I understand.
Please address an email on behalf of the resident doctors, both juniors and seniors in West Bengal, to the task force.
Yeah.
The cabinet secretary and his team are coordinating all logistical arrangements. They will ensure that you are heard by the task force and all your inputs are taken into account. Please rest assured.
Fully agree.
Your Honor, I want to-
That just 1 minute, my lord, one,
Papers.
my lord, just 1 minute.
This is not like what happens, in
No,
a
wait.
conference of doctors. It's a court of law.
Yeah, that's.
You will speak when you are called upon to speak,
Also.
right?
Uh,
Yes, yes.
Here you can talk. My lord, just one more thing. I understand what has been put to me, that it's an all-India task force and therefore every state can't have a representation. However, having regard to the fact that this incident arose in West Bengal,
Just do this, Ms. Jaising. Please write an email right away to the convener of the task force. If they have not heard already the resident doctors from West Bengal, please request for an urgent appointment. You can then have a few representatives of all the associations, meet them and give them a complete appraisal of what your concerns are, what your inputs are to the work of the task force. It will be a welcome suggestion and they will give you a hearing. The Solicitor General is here, he'll communicate it to the Cabinet Secretariat.
my lord, would your lordship consider, second, please, let me finish. Would your lordship consider appointing a sub-task force for West Bengal so that the specific issues which have arisen in West Bengal, which are not common to the rest of the country, can be looked into.
You see, all the members of the task force are people of unquestioned national
I
standing.
don't question it, Lord.
And therefore, the only point which you have made, which is a valid point, which is that the concerns specific to the doctors in West Bengal should be taken into account. Therefore, Ms. Jaising, all that you have to do is to address an email to the cabinet secretary. They will ensure that at the next meeting of the task force, representatives of all the resident doctors are heard by the task.
I will convey this to them for sure.
We're going to do
Lord,
that, my lord, on the
press
next
which is
occasion.
up on the next date of hearing. I'll briefly mention what they are. We do not want nomination of students, interns and doctors. We want them to be elected representatives on the monitoring committee, the grievance committee and the other committees. Your lordship may take it up for hearing. The state has committed to facilitating elections.
Right, but therefore this can be really addressed to the task force itself.
No, my lord, not to the task force, to your lordships. I have put it in
My
the
lord, we'll do it on the next occasion, my lord.
It's part of the agreed minutes.
Grateful, Miss.
Oblige me.
It's part of the agreed minutes, my lord.
We're not now going to go into whether election should be held, nomination should be made.
It has to be done, my lord. It
We
can't
must
be,
also understand, the remit
it
of
can't
work
be
of
nominated
our
people
My
on the,
my
on
lords,
the,
we'll
on these
submit on the
committees,
next
my lord.
occasion. On the
These
next occasion.
committees
we'll-
cannot have nominated people. They have to be elected, my lord.